Hey guys, welcome back to the video of the game of geopolitics. Recently, India has shown the world its economic power. Why? Because India has promised Nigeria $14 billion. And this is a very huge amount, especially for a country like Nigeria. This is a humongous amount. We'll talk about in details what has India promised and what is included in this deal and why is Nigeria so important to us as Indians. Let's get started. See, there are a lot of articles like this that Nigeria will get $14 billion of investment from India. Yes, India has pledged $14 billion to Nigeria. And recently, the president of Nigeria actually publicly told the world about it. See, I'll tell you, see, this is our India and Nigeria. See, again, Niger and Nigeria are two different countries. Nigeria is a country in the continent of Africa. In fact, it is probably the richest country in Africa, probably the most populated country in the whole of Africa. Yes. See, this is the currency of Nigeria, as you can see on the right, and it's called Nigerian Naira. This is the country of Nigeria. And Nigeria, as you can see here, is the most populated country in Africa, and almost 15% of the entire population of Africa lives in Nigeria. So this is a huge population. According to 2021, they had a population of 213 million. Sooner they might cross population of US as well. So yeah. Moreover, I'll tell you some more facts about Nigeria. As you can see, this is Nigeria in the world map of Africa. See, let's talk about the deal. First of all, why is Nigeria so important to us as Indians? See, the Nigeria, right, is a very big oil producer. In fact, Nigeria is the second largest oil and gas producer in Africa. In fact, India was the biggest importer of Nigerian crude oil. Yes, before the Russia-Ukraine war, after the Russia-Ukraine war started, we completely started buying Russian oil instead of Nigerian oil or even America's oil. So yeah, we completely started depending on Russian oil. But before the war started, before everything, India was the biggest importer of Russian Nigerian oil. In fact, India has supplanted US to become the single. First of all, Nigeria sold the two biggest customer of Nigerian crude oil were US and India. India was the biggest Nigerian importer. As you can see, this is an article from 2013. So from 2011 to I think 2021, for this entire decade, India was the biggest importer of Nigerian oil. But after that, it changed and we started buying oil from Russia. So because of which this investment, this $14 billion is really worth it, because see, this is such an oil rich country that we can extract a lot of oil from Nigeria and sell it cheap in India. So this will really affect our lives, and it might even help us. I'll tell you about what was included in this deal and what percent of this deal has oil included in it. See, as I told you, surge in oil imports from Russia made a sharp dip from Nigeria and US, and the overall imports was 6.8% from Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. So basically, we just depended on Russia and forgot about Nigeria since the last 3 years probably. But now what has happened? India firms to invest $14 billion in Nigeria. Now let's talk about the deal. See, Nigeria on Wednesday said that it received an investment worth $14 billion from Indian investor. So it's not government to government transaction, obviously. It's like Indian investors investing in Nigeria. For example, let's say Tata wants to invest in Nigeria, and a lot of countries want to invest in Nigeria. So the total amount goes up to $14 billion. Out of this $14 billion, the Nigerian government said that India's, you might know, Jindal Steel, right? This is Jindal Steel and Power. So out of $14 billion, Jindal Steel and Power has agreed to invest $3 billion in Nigeria's steel industries and Indorama Corporation. This is a company of Nigeria. And Indorama Corp will invest $8 billion to expand its petrochemical facilities there. So, out of this $14 billion, we know where $11 billion is going. So, again, 40 out of $14 billion, $3 billion is going to the steel production in Nigeria, and $8 billion is going to the petrochemical facilities to expand it. Moreover, Bharti Enterprises has offered $1.6 billion to construct power plants and $700 million in Nigeria, right? So basically, we are there for power, meaning we are going to either produce steel there, or we are going to extract a lot of oil or a lot of power. Moreover, a lot of people will write in the comment section that isn't China a bigger friend of Nigeria? The answer is no. In fact, Nigerians are very afraid of Chinese people because obviously what China is doing in Africa is the same as what British did in India like 76 years ago. Yeah, the same colonial mindset. China wants to conquer the entire of Africa, and obviously Nigerians are not stupid. They understand what China is trying to do, and so yeah, Nigeria is very afraid and cautious about China. In fact, recently Nigeria had an election, in which Nigerians were very cautious that the Chinese might not interfere in their elections. Why? Because what the Chinese do is they select some dummy presidents for Nigeria that would help China, and they fund the party so that they win the elections. So the Nigerian election commissioner and a lot of people were very cautious about that, and that China might not interfere in Nigeria. Moreover, a lot of time the Nigerian government has pulled up China for illegally mining ahead of presidential visit for G20. Yes, see what Nigerian government have told Chinese a lot of times is that they illegally start mining. Yes, let's say you have given a tender to a certain place, the Chinese illegally start mining more to the other mines. So yeah, that is what the Chinese do, and because of which Nigeria is very cautious about China. Moreover, what China does is that it makes Nigeria and other poor countries feel like their servants. Why? Because they give such huge loans to countries like Nigeria and Africa that they can't pay the loan off anytime soon, and because of which China has total control over these countries, and China feels like the owner of these countries. So that's another reason that Nigerian people don't like China very much. On the other hand, India does not do that. See, I'll tell you in how India protects friendship with Nigeria. See, as you might know, in the upcoming G20 summit, the 20 world leaders of the top 20 countries are coming to India, right? What India did in this G20 summit is India said that this 20 countries are obviously a part of the G20, but we should make an African Union part of G20 and so make it G21. Yes, India has supported African Union to be part of G21. Yes, because you might know that European Union is actually part of this G20 summit. So if European Union can be a part, why not African Union? And to that actually, President Biden agreed. Why? Because you might see there are representatives from every country in the world, but there is not a single representative from Africa in the G20 summit, because of which it is the African countries are really at a disadvantage, because any policy that is made in G20 is probably against Africa. So if Africa has a representative, for example the African Union, they can have their own stand as well. Moreover, see, with this 20 countries coming to G20, obviously they will be invited. But because India is the host country this year, India has the special privilege to invite more countries as special guests. So India has obviously invited Bangladesh. Comoros, this is again a country of this. He is the chairperson of African Union. So, Comoros, Egypt, Mauritius, Netherlands, again Nigeria. Yes, we have invited a Nigerian president to G20 summit in 2023, and obviously UAE and stuff. So we have invited the African countries and the African Union as well, which will help them take a stand for themselves in the position of G20. So the policies are in favor of Africa as well. Moreover, as I told you, because of this $14 billion, a lot of people, if you have watched till now, you might be wondering how will this prove India's economic power. See, this $14 billion is very special. Why? Because this will show that India does not only take loans, India now invest in other countries. India is successful enough to invest in other countries, which will increase India's soft power immensely. Yeah, enormously, India's soft power will increase. And yeah, because of the soft power, our influence will increase in Africa. And yeah, we will have a stage ready as the world leader. Yes. Please tell your opinions about this move in the comment section. Also, if you have watched till now, please subscribe and please tell me how I can improve my videos so you might enjoy my videos even more. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and yeah, goodbye.